Welcome to Sage Audio. Today let's look at how to make clean vocals in 10 steps. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description, starting with declicking. For this video, let's look at getting a vocal as spectrally and dynamically balanced as possible. Let's start by removing vocal clicks or the unwanted mouth sounds that a mic often picks up during a performance. Now to do this, I can either use the RxDeclick plugin and set the algorithm to multi-band random click, or I could use Spiff by Oak Sound. Let's use Spiff's Remove Mouth Clicks preset and modify it slightly to better suit our vocal.
You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown. You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown.
Clean vocal EQ. Next, I want to use an EQ to remove aspects of the vocal that I want less of or that make it sound unbalanced. I'll remove low frequency rumble and hum with a 12 dB per octave filter and dip a little of 250 Hz to reduce masking. Now I found some nasally tones right below 1 kHz and also some excessive sibilants at 13.1 kHz. So let's take a listen to these bands being introduced and notice how the vocal becomes slightly more balanced.
You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown. You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown.
If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it helps us bring you more videos. Use split band de-essing. Continuing our subtractive processing, let's introduce a de-esser to attenuate high frequencies in a program-dependent way. Now I'm using a high shelf filter to attenuate 6.6 kHz and above, and a bell filter to attenuate a small area where I found some excessive sibilants, only by a couple dB on each. Like the EQ, this will help to balance the frequency spectrum of the vocal. Let's take a listen.
You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown. You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown.
Introduce harmonics to the vocal. It might seem counterintuitive to saturate a vocal if I want it to sound cleaner, but harmonics will improve the signal-to-noise ratio as well as make the vocal sound fuller. With this PSP saturator, I used subtle settings and a modern tape algorithm. Additionally, I drove the input into the saturator a little before compensating with the output. Let's take a listen and notice how the vocal sounds clearer and slightly louder.
You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown. You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown.
Use a subtle vocal rider. Before I compress the vocal, there's one more thing that I want to do, which is to introduce a vocal rider. Now this plugin uses Look Ahead to alter the level of the vocal based on a preset target. As a result, the vocal's dynamics will be more balanced. This reduces the need for aggressive compression, which would have imparted a distinct and often unwanted timbre onto the vocal. Let's take a listen and notice how, although the effect is subtle, the vocal is more controlled.
You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown. You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown.
Utilize clean compression. When I want a clean sounding vocal but I still need to compress, I like to use the FabFilter Pro C2 and choose the clean algorithm with a softer knee and some look ahead. Now this reduces any coloration or timbre changes to the vocal while still attenuating the signal as needed. Oversampling will also help to keep a clean sound by reducing aliasing distortion. Let's take a listen and notice how the compressor doesn't change the sound, just the dynamics.
You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown. You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown.
Insert upward compressor. An upward compressor will compress from the noise floor up. Now, since we improved our signal-to-noise ratio in Chapter 4, we could use this afterward to amplify quieter details without worrying too much about added noise. Also, it helps control dynamics without the need for more peak-down processing. Let's take a listen and notice how the vocal sounds more detailed, dynamically controlled, and how the noise floor stays roughly the same due to the harmonics that we introduced earlier.
You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown. You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown.
If you're enjoying the channel, use the search box to watch more of our videos. Attenuate resonances with Soothe 2. The original vocal contains resonances that were likely exacerbated by some of our processing. Now with that in mind, I like to save Soothe 2 for later on in the chain to ensure that resonances are attenuated. In this instance, I found the low mids to mids were the problem areas. Now that said, I emphasize these ranges with the pre-EQ and attenuated. Let's take a listen to how this processor improves the vocal and also enable the delta function so that we can hear what exactly is being removed.
You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown. You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown.
Amplify desired frequencies. Last up in terms of processors, I like to add one more EQ to shape the overall sound. Some low rumble was introduced from our processing, so I've attenuated that with a high-pass filter before lowering 250 Hz very slightly again to reduce masking in the higher frequencies. I dipped some mids again, but then amplified 3.5 kHz to increase the vocal's presence and included a shelf above 10 kHz to introduce some air to the vocal. Having an EQ at the very end of the chain gives you a lot of control over the final spectral balance of the vocal. Let's take a listen to how this EQ clarifies the vocal.
You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown. You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown.
Introduce volume automation. Last up, let's use some volume automation. Now, volume automation affects the fader, which routing-wise is placed after all of my inserts. So now is a good time to introduce it. If we were to do this before inserting the plugins, any changes might have been negated or altered by the plugins. Now with this automation, I can fine-tune the final volume of each section. So let's listen to the final result, and keep in mind that this chain sets you up perfectly to add your final creative processors like reverb, delay, coursing, and whatever temporal processor that you want to use.
You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown. You were the girl from nowhere, now you're going back there, facing the unknown.
If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.